Peace and blessings, family. This is Brother Agyei Tyehimba of Harlem Liberation School and AT Books. I have a very simple message for all of us today. If you want conditions in your home, your organization, or your community to improve and change for the better, you got to stop the complaining and the crying and whining. Stop waiting for somebody outside your community to save you. Stop nitpicking and being overly critical of other people who at least are trying to help. Study. Organize yourself and others to do something every day to resolve the very problem you identify. Be an active agent of your own liberation rather than a sideline critic. Peace and Black Power, family. It's Brother Agyei of Harlem Liberation School, where we teach Black people to wake up, clean up, and stand up. Malcolm's brilliant but simple three-part outline for what we are to do. Wake up, get your consciousness right, raise your awareness, clean up, be self-corrective, right? Continue learning, chisel away those bad habits and urges and appetites, right? Be your highest self, and then stand up. Don't just get caught up in just praying and meditating. Don't get caught up in just, oh, I read this book and read that book and I'm conscious. Now, what you're going to do with it? You build the things you need as a nation. You defend the people, right? You educate the people, build institutions, create organizations that fight, that resist white supremacy, right? All right. We thank our beloved ancestor, Brother Malcolm, for being Harlem Liberation School's constant inspiration. And we thank you, family, for joining us. So as you know, we're going to be talking about what I guess we'll call loosely the Montgomery Brawl, the whole incident. And we should be clear, it was a racial incident, very clearly. The racial brawl in Montgomery, Alabama, at, I believe what they call the Montgomery Riverfront, right? And I want to just make sure I took a few quick notes just to make sure that important things were highlighted. So just give me 1 second as I get to that. And we are going to get started. All right, family. I'm not going to go over the details and the facts. I think you're all aware. I don't want to be redundant. If you want to know what happened, play by play, frame by frame, that's another broadcast from someone else. I'm not a reporter. I'm more of a community leader, more of somebody who tries to analyze things and make them explainable to our people, to activate our people to do something. I'm not here just to report you what happened on this day at this time, right? But there's a few important takeaways that I want to share briefly. One of them is that Black people, yes, in year 2023, after the Civil Rights Act of '64 and the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Movement and the Black Power Movement and the Black Arts Movement, after Black Lives Matter movement, after Freddie Gray and all of these different Black men and women that have been victims of police and white vigilante brutality, Black people, after all these Black militias and all these different organizations, we have gun clubs, guess what? Black people still need protection from racist white folk. If you didn't get this takeaway, I don't know what to tell you. But number one is, what that should have shown us, and as you're watching that, once you get beyond the sensationalism, ooh, the brother jumped in the wall, ooh, once you get past all that, you should be saying, damn, we still need protection from these people. Yes, that's what it shows you clearly. The brother, the big tall brother that with which this melee started, was actually a co-captain of that ship working in that facility, right? And they were simply trying to dock their ship, move this small ship out the way so that this larger ship could dock. And as they're saying this over the loudspeaker, the reports from the people there are that the white people in the little boat are sticking up middle fingers and making crude gestures and saying racial things, epithets at him. So when he gets off, when you see him, he has gotten off the ship to try to say, yo, got to do something about this. He's on a smaller ship with a young white boy who was 16 who also worked under him. So they get off their small boat to say, listen, you got to move the boat, and that's when the whole thing starts. Now, people who are civilized and have ethics would have simply said, why do we have to move the boat? And he would have said, oh, you got to move the boat so this can down. And they said, okay, they moved the boat. that whole melee that happened was completely unnecessary. That should not have happened. All things being equal, in a country, in a community where people have basic respect, right? So the first takeaway from the Montgomery Brawl, black people, is that we still need protection from them, right? From racist whites or unethical whites, however you want to frame that. And now when we say protection, I want to give that, I want to be clear, I want to give that nuance. Naturally, they need some type of armed protection, right? They need physical protection. I'm thinking of our elders, our children, that are going to and fro, and all members of our community, going to the store, going to the gas station, going to school, going to after-school programs, or what have you. And they cannot do what they're doing safely because of the presence of racist whites, and we having no apparatus in place to protect ourselves, right? So this means when I say we need protection from racist whites, to be very clear, we have the Constitution, but more importantly, the common sense and ethical, some would say divine right, to defend ourselves when we are unfairly attacked. That being said, we have formations of black militias. We have gun clubs. I know quite a few people that are leaders in some of these formations. We need them in all of these cities to be on alert with police scanners, ready to intervene, to hopefully prevent certain things from happening, to be a deterrent simply by being present, and then, of course, doing what they have to do when the time calls for it. So we need our black gun clubs, Geronimo Pratt Gun Club, Huey P. Newton Gun Club, all the new Black Panther parties, Anubis in Houston, under the command of my brother Amun Takala Hotep. We need those formations to provide protection for people, literal physical protection. But because the white man, this is a litigious society where things often go from the street to the courtroom, we also need the protection of the law. We need attorneys, our black attorneys. Benjamin Crump ain't gonna help everybody. We need the other attorneys, activist attorneys, revolutionary attorneys, okay? In the spirit of Agyei Tyehimba, who was also the second vice president for Republic of Africa, but he was an attorney, one of the attorneys for Asad Shakur, and you know he famously later went on to become a mayor in, I believe, Jacksonville, Mississippi, and his son is now the mayor there. People in the spirit of Agyei Tyehimba, those revolutionary attorneys that understand that our people need protection under the law. And while we know that the law was not set up for us, we can nevertheless do our best to have our best and brightest attorneys present to help chip away at the racist so-called criminal justice system. We need legal protection. We need physical protection. We need those black people who are educators, who are more of the interracial sort of political leaning, that say, oh, no, we need to work with the white people. That's not my political leaning. But if you're black and you're an educator and you're black, you're a theologian, a reverend, a minister, and you believe in reducing racial violence, interracial violence, and kind of creating this beloved community that a lot of civil rights activists used to talk about, go ahead and educate the people. Maybe you'll win over some whites at least to stop being so brutally racist. That's not my particular stream of thought. But if those type of black people exist amongst us, they need to be put to work, educate the savages, and try to civilizing. For real. Right? Okay. Our our activists protect our people through resistance by continuing to spotlight or highlight the important issues of the day, continuing to keep the focus on racist police, racist mayors, racist judges, racist council members, racist government officials, period, racist segments of white communities, racist laws, racist schools, racist hospitals, and go on and on. By continuing to keep the spotlight on these issues, they provide a degree of protection because it makes sure the whole world is watching and seeing what's going on. That provides a degree of protection, right? So we need our activists and our educators and our attorneys and our militias and our gun clubs all in place around the country to provide us some level of protection from racist whites. If you're a reverend, you're in the Buddhist temple, you're a person who meditates and you do visualization, you affirm, do affirmations, pray spiritually. Whatever it is you do, use that, weaponize that to protect our people in this country, because that event shows us that we still need physical, legal, moral protection in this country. Number two takeaway. Let me stop, make sure that I'm not ignoring any comments. We got Ruth's Tracker, Sister Yara. She says, salute, Brother Agyei. Your mic has some static. Okay, let's see. It's going in and out. You can hear me, but she has a harder time. I hope that this helps. Certainly hope this helps. Thank you for that, Sister Yara. Appreciate that. And I'm glad that you're joining us. So let me go on. Number two, an important takeaway. The reason that we all around the country and the world know what happened in Montgomery, Alabama, is because several black people and probably other people recorded the incident as it was happening in live time through social media. Right? Now, back in 1950 or 60, we would have had to depend on the media to be there. And since there was no media there, we wouldn't have known about it. But because we have this social media and these smartphones, all of which have pretty high quality cameras in them, we can kind of record information live, and we have the capacity then not only to record but to disseminate it, distribute these videos through all these social media platforms. I have seen about maybe 4 different videos. Most of them have gone viral. In this case, it's a good thing. So what I'm going to suggest, another important takeaway, is a tactic. Black people should not only have militias and gun clubs and groups of attorneys that are activists and groups of educators, but we should have groups of people who get involved with guerrilla journalism. Grassroots guerrilla journalism. By guerrilla, I don't mean the ape guerrilla. I mean underground, non-traditional, unorthodox forms of grassroots journalism. Meaning, you take this magnificent tool right here and you weaponize this tool. This tool becomes a weapon of information to disseminate to our people, to let people know that beneath the veneer of being this country that's a citadel of justice, the truth is this country is just as racist today as it was in 1619 and prior. That is a fact. That the people who are the racists and white supremacists and eugenicists back then have ideological descendants that live today. And they come with the same racist attitude, the same bigoted assumptions, the same prejudice, biases, and the same levels of brutality and hatred is going for our people. And sometimes people in this country and people in other countries may not be aware of that. They have to see it. So it's made flesh. So the word is made flesh, as they say in the church, and through filming it and distributing it worldwide, what you're doing is adding to that historical document of evidence of white brutality against melanated, in this case, black people. So I would say we need to have not just do it uh, um, spontaneously. We need to actually form groups of people that are go around and film these things in a structured, organized way. Right? That's very important. We should, in other words, continue to film acts of aggression against our people. We should continue to document these acts of aggression. All right? And I think the third takeaway, and there's many, but these are just general things. I know this is your lunch break. I'm trying to be quick. Is that racism, family? I don't think some of us are really think about what makes racism so sticky. After all the civil rights legislation, after all the Black Power movement, the 19th century abolitionist movement, all these movements, the statues, they removed some of the racist statues, and they have laws that supposedly are supposed to dissolve race. After all of these things, why is racism still here? Why is it so powerful? Well, family, it's powerful because so many people support it. It's powerful because so many people fund it. It's powerful because it has so many institutions that operationalize its ideas. Prisons, hospitals, schools, banks, and we can go on and on. Realty companies. It's powerful because it has convinced the group of people who should be fighting it, us, that we are nothing, have nothing, and can be nothing. It's powerful because it has conditioned us with fear. It's conditioned us to be apologetic. It's conditioned us to be accepting of our mistreatment, right? And it's powerful because it's has so many, as I'd say, it's a 19-headed fire-breathing dragon that when you cut one of those heads off, the head regenerates. So sometimes we're going to attack the law. We're going to have a legal analysis. That's great, but there's 18 other heads. You over here hacking away at the legal head. Them other 18 heads are burning you to a crisp. We have to have a wholesale, holistic attack. This means on all those 9 areas that Brother Neely Fuller identified, we can add healthcare to that. Law, labor, sex, war, all these different things, education that Neely Fuller outlined. Every one of those areas, we must mount a full-scale attack, right? Not just one area, all of them, and they must be done simultaneously. But here's the other thing this should have showed you, and with this, I'm going to end. Those of you who cook are probably familiar with you making a curry dish. And you know how you get the curry in your fingers and your fingernails, and you get the curry on your kitchen counter. And you scrub that curry. You get your Brillo pad out, your special scrub pad, your magic eraser. You scrubbing that curry, and you get some of the stain out. The stain gets a little duller and a little duller, but you never can quite get all of the curry out of your kitchen counter. Racism is kind of like that, family. We've been scrubbing on it, agitating against it, resisting it, and we have made some victories. There are some pockets and spaces of life that are a little bit easier. We can breathe a little better because of activists and intellectuals, right? And institution builders from our race. But no matter how hard we scrub, racism is still there. And I want to leave you with this, family. What this indicates is that the fight is not over. In fact, some would argue, sociologists would argue, that this idea of hating black people, subjugating black people, brutalizing black people have no rights that we're bound to respect, that whole sort of ideology is resurfacing, is being rekindled, is being lit anew. So not only has racism not disappeared, it has actually seems in some ways it has escalated. And so too must we escalate in response to that, family. And we must teach our kids to escalate. They got a responsibility, not just go out here and do videos where they showing the latest dance on TikTok or showing off their latest sneaker collection on TikTok. But we're the kids are organizing. They're raising the critical questions, not just going to college to get a job. They're going to college to learn information and skills and get context they can come back and bring to their community to help liberate their community. We need a new Black Power movement, is what I'm getting at, family. We need to bring Black nationalism back to the forefront of our political consciousness and to the political stage. We need to bring Pan Africanism back, family, to the political stage. This idea that I'm here and you're there, but we're not going to let land, label, or language separate us. We have unique problems. Racism has manifested itself a little differently in the UK, a little differently in Uruguay, a little differently in Nicaragua, a little differently in Cuba. But we're going to fight them. We recognize that we descend from one place. We've been separated by artificial labels and boundaries, and we do not acknowledge them. And we're going to be a local people, but a global people at the same time. With that said, family, give serious thought to what role you're going to play in this movement for dignity and for justice and for safety and for economic uh, um, um, strength. As you look around, you see other groups building. Ask, where's your libraries? Where's your museums? Where's your economic banking systems, credit unions, supermarkets, laundromats? And think to yourself, how can we operate as the nation that we are? We're a dormant nation, but we're a nation nevertheless. But I hope that we're clear on some of the things we should have learned or relearned as a result of this Montgomery brawl. Black people still need protection from white folk. Racism is still alive and well. We still need to find ways to document, record, and disseminate acts of aggression against our people. And we need to create or activate our gun clubs, our militias, whatever. We have to. We have the right to do that. We have the right to protect ourselves. So, metaphorically speaking, if that Montgomery riverfront was America and the boat is black people, all of us should be jumping off this damn boat, swimming to save our people, metaphorically, in one way or another. Thank you for listening, family. Peace and Black Power. Have a beautiful day. Peace.